Hello everybody, it's Yasmin here. How are you doing? Hope you're very well. Okay, sorry I'm a bit late. But today what I thought I would do is I thought I would talk to you about oracle cards and how to read oracle cards. And in fact, I came up with this idea because I was speaking to someone on email who had actually just bought a deck of my Moonology oracle cards, and she said, "I've just got your cards. They're really beautiful, but I don't know how to use them." And I thought, "Gosh, okay. So why don't I give a little explanation?" Hello everybody, hello Lynette, hello Sally, good morning Donna in Vermont, hello Christine in Connecticut. Oh, thank you for telling me where you are, I love that. Hi Carrie, hi Adele, Tony, Justina, hello everybody. So hi Anna, Brittany, Stephanie, Janet. Hi everybody. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to read oracle cards, because strangely enough, not everybody knows, which is really funny because, you know, in my world, you know, everybody knows how to read oracle cards. Like, we all know. I'm just trying to see if I can get a nicer filter, because this filter makes me look like I'm crying or something, but I think any other filters will mess up the cards, so I'm just going to stick with this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, they take away, they don't always have my favorite filter. There's one filter that basically is beautiful, but I think they think it's too easy. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so oracle cards. So who has a deck of oracle cards out there in the world? Hi Jenny on the Gold Coast, hi Yvonne in Durham. Who has a deck of oracle cards and doesn't know how to use them? All right, or who's seen oracle cards and not been sure how to use them? So this is what I thought I would explain today. So first of all, we get your cards. They usually will come in a box. I have mine. These are my Moonology oracle cards. Currently, possibly the best-selling oracle cards in the world, or they were, or they still are, I don't know. Anyway, so they come in a box. I use these so often that I just keep them on my desk, so I don't have them in their box. But normally they come in a box, so when you get the box, you open the box, and there's usually a little strip of white paper around them, which you just take that off, and then you take the cards out. And if you happen to have my deck, and I'm pretty sure most decks, there's an instruction to bless the cards. It says bless the cards there. And so, I mean, I've given instructions where you can just hold the cards like that in both your hands, or you hold them to your heart chakra, and you just basically ask the divine to bless the cards. And, you know, you can use your own words, but basically something along the lines of, you know, may these cards work for my highest good and the highest good of anyone I'm reading for. You know, there's no prescription, there's no book that tells you, you know, what to do, apart from there is my little book where I tell you what to do. But, you know, you can use your own words. So I've written beautiful cards. I ask you to lead me in the right direction with good advice for me and for anyone else who seeks guidance from you. Thank you for always showing me gently whatever I need to know as I read you. I trust you, and so it is, so be it. All right, so there we go. Hang on, there was a question there. Let's have a look. Okay, Anna says, how do you clear the energy from the cards? So I'm coming to that right now. So then what I do, I do this often, but when you first get a deck of cards, it's actually a really good idea to give them a good whack like that, and then I turn them the other way and give them a good whack. Because, you know, it's not because other people are bad or the energy's bad, but, you know, these will have gone through various places, you know, like, I don't know where Hay House prints them, but, you know, they've gone from a computer to a printing press, to people have been then packing them up in the factory, and people load them into the trucks, and they go to the bookstores and they get put on the shelves, or, you know, Amazon warehouse or whatever. And so it's not that those people's energy is bad. Like, please don't get me wrong. It's not that. It's just that you kind of just want your own energy on them. And I know some people make a real fuss about, no, you can't touch my cards. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I think other people, you know, can touch my cards and you know, get the vibe. And then, you know, when I've given them to someone else afterwards, I just give them a good wrap like that and like that, you know, and I just welcome them back or whatever. So that's something you can do. Give them a good tap when you first get them to clear them of any energy they've picked up in the production process, more or less. And then what I do, and again, this is not prescriptive, you know, this is about intention. This is about, you know what to do, so you can do it your way. And if you don't know what to do, this is how I do it, so you can do it like this as well. So what I then do is first of all, I just push every single one of them from one hand to the other. I do this with every single deck I get, whether it's my deck or someone else's deck or whatever. And I just do that. So what am I doing there? I'm putting my energy onto every single deck. Okay? I'm putting my energy onto every single deck. Every single card. All right? So I go through and I do the whole thing. All right? Which I won't do right now. And then what I do, once I've done that, so then my energy has been on every single card. All right? And then what I do is I turn them over. And I look at each picture and each message. You know, most with Oracle decks, most decks will have a picture and a message. So I look at every single picture and every single message. Now, why do I do that? Because it's kind of like, I actually think the word might be morphic resonance. Is that what it is? Where it's the idea that we're all connected to all life everywhere. We already know everything on one level or another. We just need to remember it. So in the case of Oracle cards, what you're basically doing when you're using cards is you're using them as a prompt to help you know or help you remember the stuff you already know. So when you ask a question, you know, does he love me? Or, you know, am I going to get the money? Or, you know, should I leave my job or whatever? You know, or is it going to work out for me in this job? Then you're basically using the cards as a way to tell you what you already know, which is it's all going to be fine, or there's going to be challenges, or you're wasting your energy or stuff like that. So they tell you what you need to know. So, but on some level, you already know these cards because we're all connected to all life everywhere. So when you go through and you look at every single card and every single message, on one level, what you're doing is you're kind of reminding yourself of what they all mean. You know, so there's no need to sit down and study them. It's like literally you just get to know them again. It's like on some level you already know them, and this is a way of getting to know them again. So that's that. And at that point, I'd probably, if I haven't already, I might give them a shuffle when I first get them from the factory, or else, you know, when I buy them from the shop or whatever, or I'll give them a good shuffle now. It doesn't really matter either way. Okay. So then we're going to get down to the business of how do you actually read them once you've sort of blessed them. And by the way, you can re-bless them anytime you like. You can clear their energy anytime you like. You know, you can leave them, you know, when you leave them on your shelf, you can leave them with a crystal on top. You can do whatever you want, you know, within reason. There goes my carnelian. Hang on a minute. There's my lovely crystal. So, you know, you can do whatever you want. I mean, just say, actually, I just had an idea, but like, just say if you are, you're into crystals and you're into cards and you've decided, you know, assuming you've got some experience with cards, and you've decided you want to start doing, making money with customers, doing readings, you know, you could get a little chunk of pyrite, which I happen to have on my desk because I love pyrite. And you could, like, when you're not reading the cards, you could just leave them with a chunk of pyrite on them, which is basically, you know, pyrite, I think, amongst other things, represents financial success. So, you know, you could just leave them there and just think, well, I want to be a successful card reader. I want to be making my living by reading cards for people. You know, you could just leave them with a chunk of kyrite. It doesn't matter, you know, there are no rules, like I keep saying. All right, so now when it comes to doing a reading, how do you do it? So there are different ways to do it, and in my Moonology cards, I actually, in the booklet, there are a couple of spreads. The first one is a simple 3-card reading, okay? So basically, card 1 represents the past, card 2 represents the present, and card 3 represents the future. You know, so does anyone... I don't really want to do card readings on the fly too fast, but basically, you know, the past, the present, and the future, where you can see what's been going on, what's happening now, and what's about to come. And the cards will tell you that, and that's pretty good. Or you can do a new moon 3-card spread. Card 1, so this is for the new moon. So what's rising up in me, the main message of the new moon for me, and the final outcome. Okay, or there's a full moon spread. So I'll leave you to look in the book if you've got the cards for the full moon spread. But you know, it's just different ways of doing it. So that's like, they're 3 really easy ways. You can also do a Celtic cross. I don't do Celtic crosses with these cards. I actually only do Celtic crosses with my Rider-Waite tarot cards, because I just feel that tarot cards are better for Celtic crosses, but I've actually given instructions in here for how to do a Celtic cross for anybody who wants to do one with these cards as well. So, you know, in terms of how do I use them, so you just give them a good shuffle and you come and you think, okay, this is my question, you know, and you can just do a 1-card reading like we do here pretty much every day. So, you know, put your hand on your heart. I often say to people, is this card for you? Say if this card is for you, because, you know, it's like taking ownership of the card. And so I'm just going to scroll down so I can see any questions that are coming up, because it suddenly stopped scrolling because I scrolled up. Oh. What's the difference between Oracle and Tarot cards, asked Liz. Well, there's quite a few differences. Firstly, tarot cards have 78 cards, whereas Oracle cards can have any number of cards. These, my Moonology cards, have 44. So there's that. The other thing is that tarot cards have minor arcana and major arcana. So minor arcana are all the sort of court cards, and major arcana are all the big cards like the Tower or the Sun or the Chariot or whatever. But I think one of the biggest differences for me is that tarot cards can be really confronting. Like when I'm doing readings for people, and I always say, do you want a nice, gentle oracle card which will kind of encourage you along the way, or do you want a tarot card that will just go bang and tell you, you know, tell you how it is, whether you want to know it or not? Now, because I believe we are constantly creating our own reality and our own future, I actually prefer in some ways to use oracle cards, although I do love to use tarot cards, and I do read tarot cards for other people. When I'm doing them for myself, I nearly always use oracle cards because I just find them more gentle, and you know, nothing's ever set in stone. It's basically what you're currently creating anyway. Okay, so what do you do? So I mean, normally I'd fan them out on the table, and you know, it's funny because on the one hand you use your left hand because that's the hand closest to your heart. In India, it's all about the right hand, so it doesn't really matter. Use whichever you want. And then you kind of like feel the energy of the cards. So everybody now, think of a question, think of a question. All right? Think of a question, think of a question. And then you draw a card, and one will stand out to you. And here we go. Woohoo! Here's our card. And we get an answer. So you ask your question in your mind, or even better, write it down or say it out loud. Okay, so we've got the new moon card, which is very auspicious. Here we go. There is a yes coming your way. This is one of the most auspicious cards in the deck. It's totally positive and suggests something new and exciting is developing. The situation you're asking about is blessed and you are on target to achieve your goals, okay? So then you get your answer. So it's really as simple as that, as spread the cards out, ask your question. Now, one thing I was taught by the first person who taught me about how to use oracle cards, one thing I was taught was always make a kind of a ceremony about it. You know, so don't just kind of like, oh, I'll just take a card, like that. It's like, no, sit down. Okay, I'm going to be doing some divination, because, you know, divination is like this ancient art, and you're tapping into goodness knows what as you ask the heavens for an answer, as you ask the divine to guide you. So you want to kind of do a decent kind of, you know, little ceremony. And then what I also do, and I'm going to do it after we've finished here, is I get my journal. There's my journal. I've put Ganesha on there. And what I will do is I will make a note here. I will write in here, new moon card, or whatever. Whoa! Oh dear, my pen top just fell in my coffee. And then I'll write the question that I asked. Okay. All right, because I had a question, and then I'll just journal about it, and I'll just write out what I got and how that makes me feel, and you know what I'm expecting as a result. Because for one thing, you know, if you get a card you're not thrilled about, like you might get the nothing is going to happen card, or this situation is blocked, or anything like that, you know, that can make you feel like, oh, I don't like that card, I just want to get another card, it's not fair, it's not right, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the way to do oracle cards. The oracle cards are working for you, and they're saying to you, this is what you're currently manifesting. So, you know, if you're not happy with the result, what are you going to do about it? All right, so then you write out what you got in your journal, and I highly recommend this extra step, which most people don't do. I highly recommend it, at least when you do your daily card draw. If you're one of these people who does a daily card draw, which I sometimes do actually, I go through phases of it depending on what's happening. Writing it down, for one thing, you don't have to, Teresa's saying, does it make a difference if you don't find it easy to journal? It's not a question of being easy, you know, in some ways, because you can literally just write, this is the card that I got. Like, it's not hard. This is the card I got, and then just copy out some of the meaning from the book. If you don't want to kind of say how you feel about it, just do the basic stuff, you know, do the basic stuff. And then for one thing, then you've got a record, which is really useful, because you've got this record of what the card said to you. So, you know, as life pans out, you can look back and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's the card I got, and that's what it came out as, you know. So, and for another, you know, like you're kind of testing the cards, but also you can go back and you can see how things evolved for you. You know, and when you're having a lot of trouble in your life, if there's a situation, you know, for example, a relationship breakdown, or, you know, big trouble at work with a colleague or something like that, then you can just do this card and you can kind of get a picture of the overall feeling, you know. And lots of people are putting lots of different ideas of doing this. I write mine in my journal, but you know, someone's saying I take a picture of it and I put it on I suppose she puts it online, you know. So there's so many different ways to do it, okay. And yeah, someone's saying they put it in their Moonology diary. Exactly, that's another thing you can do. You can just go, if you've got the Moonology diary, you can just go here and put your little rectangle, write what the card is, so you remember the card, and then just a few lines about, you know, this is what it says it means, and this is what I feel like what's going to happen. So there you go. And just remember that, you know, your oracle card, what the oracle cards say to you is literally what you are currently manifesting, okay? So what you are currently manifesting, it doesn't mean it can't change. It's what you're currently manifesting, you know, or if you're asking with someone else, about someone else, what you're currently manifesting, co-creating with that person. So there you go. So I hope that helps. I'm not going to do a card now because we got our card. A new start is coming. All right. So I just wanted to do this because I just wanted people to understand how easy it is to use the cards. Okay. The card was A new start is coming. And it's basically saying that if things have been a bit crap, they're going to be much better. So again, just a reminder, this is what you do. You shuffle them. Think of your question. I would say write your question down in your journal beforehand, because I don't know, I'm just someone who might like fudge the question, like, oh, I didn't really mean that. I kind of meant this, you know. So you write it down before you ask the question. You just feel which card you want. One card will call to you. Take the card. There's your answer. Write down what you got, and if you can, just write down what feelings it gives you and what you think you need to do based on the result of the card. So there you go. How to read oracle cards. I hope that helped. I will see you guys tomorrow. See ya.